Hi guys, this is Crystal from Keto Carnivoreish Chris, and in this video today I'm just going to show you me playing around with more protein sparing modified fast bread. I decided to do a big batch, and so I used 2 of the smaller cartons from Costco, the Kirkland brand of egg whites. I added them all to my big mixing bowl. I frothed the egg whites up a little bit with my handheld mixer, and then I added 4 teaspoons of cream of tartar. In the past, when I had made this bread, I would just use a little bit of cream of tartar, so I thought I would do more cream of tartar and measure it out. Because I was doubling up the batch and using 2 cartons. If I was just doing a half batch, I would have only added 2 teaspoons. I wanted to see if the cream of tartar would help my bread stay up better and not cave in or shrink back down. So I measured and I used more. I whipped my egg whites for a good 11 minutes. I wanted to try and do less time than I did before to see if it made a difference as well. I added 4 tablespoons of powdered swerve to the mixture, and you can see my bowl is so full. It's hard for me to even get my handheld mixer to the bottom of the bowl without touching the top of my mixer, but it's worked. I scooped out some of the mixture to make a bun before adding my protein powder because I wanted to see the difference of the buns and the texture just using egg whites and swerve versus the eggs white protein powder and swerve. So here I am adding the protein powder now. I measured out on my food scale 120 grams. So again, if this were a half batch, if this was just a standard batch, I would only be adding 60 grams. But it was so hard to mix all the protein powder in with this much mixture and my bowl overflowing and powder going everywhere. So I had to use my spatula to kind of push the powder down as to not fly everywhere. This was such a big batch. It made it really tricky. The reason I was doing such a big batch is because I was making the bread and the hamburger buns and the hot dog buns, and I was even going to use a little bit for the mock cinnamon buns, but it was quite tricky to work with this much mixture. Maybe this is when a handheld mixer stand would come in better than a stand mixer would work better, I think, for a mixture this big. And then I went to go on and form my hamburger buns. So the trick that I found with this is you want the height, especially because mine don't tend to stay risen, but you want to build them up more with the width you want and go double the height because I find they drop a little bit. So even with my hot dog bun, which you can't see right now, but it will show in a few seconds here, I kind of built them up to be the size of a hot dog bun, which aren't very big, by the way. If you were going to take your traditional Wonder Bread white hot dog bun, it's not very big, but I tried to build it up in height, if that makes sense. And again, same with the hamburger buns. You're working up the height more so than the width. Because there was so much batter, I had to mix it up again before I could pour my bread because I just felt like it was more watery with such a big batch that I did. Even here you can see I'm putting it into the bread tin and it just almost to me looked wetter or felt wetter. And in the end, my bread didn't stay risen, but it was bigger than the loaf I had made before, and I found it tasted really good. But yeah, just more wetter, if that makes sense. After I sculpt my bread, again, I'm building up the height here. not letting the OCD get the best of me. I just kind of smoothed out the top like your traditional loaf of bread on top would be. But I've seen people just throw it on and that works too. I just try to smooth it out, mimicking the like shape of a loaf of bread, I guess. Once I got the bread into the oven, I went on to make the mock cinnamon buns with wet mixture I had left, which wasn't very much. So these were not very big. I just dolloped out some batter into mounds. I'm not sure how many of you might have watched my original cinnamon bun video. I had made them a little bit bigger, and in the center I added a mixture of softened butter with brown swerve and cinnamon. But with this mixture, I decided just to sprinkle cinnamon brown swerve on top instead of adding a mixture to the middle, and then put them in the oven to bake. Here are the hamburger and hot dog buns out of the oven cooling. Okay guys, this is the one that was just egg whites and swerve. I'm gonna cut into it. It totally has a different texture than these ones that are hard. I was doing hair, couldn't take these out of the oven sooner, but it practically looks the same inside. So I am gonna put this in its own bag and put it in the fridge because I usually put these in the fridge. Okay, so let me cut open. So this one right now got a little bit more toastier in my oven, and that's only because I couldn't get to them sooner. That is the inside. Like, the differences aren't huge. I mean, this one looks more whiter. This one still feels soft. This one doesn't on the outside, but I know they softened when I put them in the fridge. So I'm gonna put this in its own bag. Let's cut open one of the hot dog buns, which in my, like, aren't bad shape-wise. But again, if I wasn't doing, like, look at how much crumbs there are there. If I wasn't doing a client, I would have pulled it out so much sooner. But honestly, that's not bad. Okay, let me try this one. To where? This one's not bad either. It feels soft in there. Kind of excited to have a hot dog with those, or make a sub type sandwich. Which one did I cut? Okay. Looking at my time since these were baked in the oven at 315 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. And then they were in the oven with the bread turned off for another 30 minutes. Had I not been doing hair, I would have pulled them out when they were a nice light brown. They don't need to rest like the bread does in the oven. But they still turned out great and taste delicious. If anything, it just makes it a little more crustier, which was fine with me. But they are good both ways. I'm kind of really hoping this tastes all right so that I can make a bunch of buns without the protein powder. I mean, I love these breads and the bun, but if I could skip out on the protein powder, that would just save me a lot of money. So I don't know, here's hoping that tastes just as good. And maybe I'll even work another batch in at some point using half the amount of protein powder just to see. Okay, so these ones weren't left in very long. I can't remember how much time, but they are softer. I'll find my photos and timestamps that way. but they look good inside. They're soft. They only have the cinnamon and brown swerve on top. I'm gonna add a little bit of a glaze, and then this is the last time I made these. I like ate them right away, or not ate them right away. I had one right away, and then left the rest out. Maybe that's too much. On the counter in a container. This time I think I'm going to put them in a container and put them in the fridge and just see how they change texture wise doing that versus the counter.
So looking at the timestamps on my video, these were in the oven at 315 degrees Fahrenheit, just under 20 minutes. I then pulled them out and transferred them to my microwave to cool because I had my bread still cooking in the oven.
Okay, that is them all glazed up. I just thought I'd share that version. These are not very big. God, how do I? That is the palm of my hand, so not very big. Yeah. The underneath. But yeah, I just thought I'd share. I hope you guys enjoyed this.
So here is my bread. It did cave in on the top a bit, but this has been my biggest loaf of bread yet. It's sliced up really good. It was in the oven at 315 degrees Fahrenheit for the half hour and then cooled for the half hour. And I was able to cut nice thick slices. This was higher than my last loaf that I did, but not as high as I was hoping it would stay, but still super good. I was quite happy. If you've been successful with your bread and not having it collapse, drop tips in the comment section so we can all learn. I then put it in a large Ziploc bag to store it. I have to find a better bread container, I think, if I'm going to continue doing this, because it's so wasteful using a big Ziploc bag. But I want to store it in an airtight container or a bag, so this worked. I do find that allowing the bread to sit in a day in the fridge actually adds to the texture and taste of the bread, though. Just a little FYI.
But yeah, I just thought I would share that. I'll keep you posted on this one. That would be great if I could, yeah, cut down on the protein egg white powder, but I love the size of these. I hope they turned out really good.
I went ahead and stored these in a Ziploc bag and stored them in the fridge as well. A couple days later, from the fridge, I pulled out that bun that was just egg whites and swerves. And you can see it didn't hold up as well in my fridge. It really deflated. I went ahead and made a sandwich with it anyways because I wanted to see what it tastes like and felt like. Aside from it losing its shape, texture-wise, it was good. Taste-wise, it was gross because all you could taste was the swerve. If I were to do this again, I would leave out the swerve or just use a little bit. I'm tempted to try this again and just use a little bit of egg white powder to give it more shape and structure, but I'm trying to see if I could make it using less because that would save on cost. If any of you have done this, feel free to type in comments below on tips and tricks. Also, again, like I said, if you've been successful at having your bread not fall, leave those tips in the comment sections as well so we can all help each other. Thanks for watching this, guys. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And until next time, bye.